come out. All right, so 135, right? That's what we're doing today. And does anybody have any questions or anything you want to get out of this? Does anybody know what a 135 is?
I do not know what a 135 is.
Good.
Go right ahead.
Do you know what it is?
Nope.
Do you know what it is?
Rough idea, but no.
Good, because I didn't know what it was up until last year, and you couldn't get me to do it up until last year. But we've been, we coach with a lot of people, and Ron Fredette, who I'm sure everybody knows, works with us. We have a coaching call with him every week, so we started doing it naturally. And then we'll talk about it, we'll do it, and because it's a good thing that there's only a few people here, because then we can come up with a good individual plan. You might want to get some paper.
Yeah, I thought it was just a presentation.
Yeah, it ain't. It's a life-changing event, that's what it is.
Good, let's do this.
All right, so, let me wait for him to get back.
So why you wanna really on board to doing it originally? What about it?
What got me to do it?
No, actually, why you didn't, why you were adamant of doing it?
I'm not doing it? Because I just don't do stuff like that. It's a plan, and it's a good plan, but I believe that people, when you say you're gonna do business, you just say, I'm gonna do business. You don't sit down and say, okay, I'll get 10 deals from this person and 10 deals from this situation. You don't plan how you're gonna get the business. You're just planning on, everybody turn around and wave to Sandy.
All right.
I like pictures.
Good.
All right, so, all right, you may want to take notes. You don't have to take notes the whole time. I'll tell you the important things that you need to write. We'll just go over some rules, and then I'll tell you guys how I got to where I am today. Questions, I'll open it up for questions after I talk about certain things, just because if you ask me while I'm talking, it'll throw me off so far that I won't be able to finish my train of thought, Phones, you're all adults, keep it to a minimum and just keep it quiet. Bathroom, I'm not your dad. If I was, you wouldn't be able to go, but you can get up and go at any time, so don't worry about it, okay? And then that's about it. And just try to stay focused, because my goal for this is we get to spend an hour together. I usually don't teach too many of these classes because I value my time too much. So my intention that we're here for the next hour is that you walk away with something you can truly use. Because if not, to me, it's a waste of time. So your intention should be, I don't know, put at the top of your paper what your intention is, to learn 135 or to learn, and we'll go over what it is, and maybe your intention will become clear. Now, any questions about what it is? Pretty straightforward, right? What's your name, sir?
Frank.
Frank?
Frank Ford.
David, how are you? All right, so, let's just, do you all know each other? Let's just introduce, everybody just introduce yourself.
Ando.
Zulin, my name is Zulin.
Okay,
Frank.
awesome. All right, cool. So, we've been in business, my brother Arthur and I, we're up front in the corner office. We've been in business for 6 years. First year, we only did one deal. We got a commission check of $860 each, and that was my introduction to this business. Second year, we did 5, and so on, which I'm gonna talk about later, and how our road was. But the whole point being is that first year, we thought we were gonna do 100 deals, and we wrote 100 deals, and we only did 1. So we were pretty disappointed, but we didn't have a plan, and we didn't have a belief system that we could do 100 deals. So what I want to talk about is goals, 135 is, let me just pull up my sheets. So you're gonna set one goal, and then you're gonna do 3 priorities, and then you're gonna do 5 strategies for each priority, okay? So it's a goal-setting thing. Basically, it's a goal-setting thing. We're gonna break it down. And what you should be able to do after we break this down is know what you have to do weekly, what you have to do monthly, and what you have to do in order to hit your goals annually. All right, that's going to be our goal. And each person is going to have a different thing, depending on where you are in the business, where you are in your mindset, and just a bunch of things. Right, we're all human, so everybody's results will be different. Now, any questions about that? Awesome. Goal setting, realistic versus actual dreams, right? Like, what is your dream goal? If nothing mattered and you could just be a 5-year-old and I say, what's your dream goal? And you say, 900 deals.
Oh, well, in business?
Yeah, in
Oh,
business.
okay, yeah.
This will be a strictly business, more or less.
Okay. To be in the business at one point that I just invest.
That you just invest. So you'd have to make money. What's
A lot of money.
What's your goal for how many transactions you want to do?
I want to do over 50 transactions.
Over 50 transactions. All right, so is that a dream goal, or do you truly, from the bottom of your
I
heart,
believe
believe
that I can do it.
this year?
Close, yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
2 years, maybe?
Yeah,
Okay.
could be.
So it's kind of a dream goal, okay? Because you could probably believe that you could most definitely do 20, 25 this year, right? Without doubt, right? If you do what you're supposed to do, you should be able, hello, how are you?
Good.
You gotta sit up front, cause no, I'm just kidding. Sit wherever you want.
I sit in front of you.
I see you again.
See you. So, 25, I would just say would probably be your goal for this year. How about you, Frank?
Well, it's not so much transactions, it's gross income, and I'm shooting for $200,000.
$200,000 a year. And how many houses have you, or
I've been in the business for about 2 months, haven't sold anything yet.
for about 2 months, and 250,000 is your number? Do you know how?
No, 200,000.
200,000?
Even 2 months.
Do you know how many transactions that would be for you?
We did a calculation of that once based on, I think it was $250,000 homes, and I think it came out to 23.
Okay.
But obviously that varied depending on referrals and, sell $1 million house, that's, changes the numbers. But I'm
Awesome.
shooting for the bottom line rather than just numbers of transactions.
All right, real quick, Andrew, your dream goal for this next year,
This
2016.
I want to do, like you said, I'm shooting for a higher priced home for 15 transactions.
15. How about you? A dream goal for this coming up year. If nothing mattered and you could walk in and say, I want to do 100, and 100 will fall in your lap. What is that number? Your dream goal?
Goal's probably 3 a month.
3 a month. So
So-
what's that annually?
35.
35-ish, and you would be the same, I imagine? Or are you gonna do your own 35? Then you get to keep that money.
I guess I'm trying to figure out what would you need to do for productivity to get to, I don't know, gross 600 or something.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which would probably be double that number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ando's on my team, so I'm gonna, I'm gonna have a little fun with him. What's your number? And you better have a good one.
50.
50. All right, awesome. So what I want to say is there's a big difference between realistic goals and your dream goals. We all come out, like I said, first year my brother and I only did one deal, literally $860. I remember it because I freaking couldn't believe that we got that money. And now I've never seen a check for that low in my life, so after that first year. But the thing is, the first year, my dream goal was 100 deals. And you come to find out after you're done fooling yourself at the end of the year that you're not going to hit your dream goal this year, or maybe even next year, or maybe even the year after that, And then what happened was this past year, we've been with Keller Williams for 2 years, and obviously it's a really amazing company, and people try to get us to leave all the time, but I haven't seen a better value yet. So what happens is when you set more realistic goals, something that you actually believe you can hit, you'll be able to hit it. If I say I want to do 100, but I have done 0 deals, and then all of a sudden I'm going to do 100, that's a really tough road, That's a tough road mentally. You're fighting an uphill battle because If everything stems from belief, we don't even have that to stand on, okay? So maybe your belief could be like, your dream belief is fine for it to be there, but maybe you say 35, so maybe 15, right? Or 35 together, 15 each, okay? And I'm not saying that's forever, but we're talking about this year, 2016. And you don't go, like how many deals did you do last year, would be my question.
We just started.
You just started, right. So we gotta come up with a good game plan to hit those goals. I'm not saying we couldn't do 100 our first year, we probably could have, but we didn't have the right guidance and the right structure, and that's what we're gonna work on today. So anybody have any questions about that? No? Awesome. Now, what I will do is hand out our 135 for this past year. Ando, you mind just handing these up for me?
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, could you guys mind sharing?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. I'll give everybody 30 seconds or so, look over it, and then we're gonna talk about it. Okay, good. All right, so obviously our goal was 35. We just moved our goal to 50, but that's once we were really on target to hitting our 35. So basically, Frank, you said 200, 250. So this is kind of along the ballpark. Essentially, anybody in here, if you do it at 35 deal increments, if that's how you look at it, each 35 deals should essentially put about 200 in your pocket and a little more than that in GCI, okay? So that's kind of just how it goes, based on a price point. Like our price point changed. It used to be 350,000, and then as you know, we moved here and we did a lot more volume, and then what happened was our price point dropped. So you can obviously change price points. You could change all kinds of things, but the one thing that you should be able to do year over year is the number of units you're gonna move. You see, because if you know you can move 35 units, changing the price change is a different issue. It's a very easy thing to do. You just need to know that you can work with 35 people or 50 people, because that's your only business. Because come January, you need to get another 50 deals, and come next January, you need to get another 50 deals, right? So it's like restarting the clock every single time. So one goal. I imagine everybody wants to do an income goal, fair to say? All right, so what is your income goal? You can do GCI or you can do net to you. 100,000, does that sound fun?
It was fun for me, because I did that before, so I wanna go over that.
Okay.
150.
So our goal was 250 in GCI, all right? We're pretty damn close to it. So after the company payouts and everything else. Now, we have a lead generation-based business, meaning the first day I came into, we started with Century 21, we sat down, and the guy goes, cold call, do you have any friends and family that could buy real estate? And we're like, no, all our family's kind of broke. So they're like, here's a phone, and just start cold calling. And the guy that told us to cold call, he never cold called, We were like, how do you get your business? And he basically got business by referral and grew up in the town and all this great things. But we didn't know what else to do. So these numbers in our business is based on cold calling. There's a million ways to get business, you all know. We're not gonna cover that today. But what you're gonna have to do is figure out your numbers or your conversion rates. If you are not we're gonna be prospecting one way or another. Whether you're cold calling, whether you take 1,000 cards and go down the street, hand them out, whether you go door knock a neighborhood, whether you go to 1,000,000 networking events and you take the cards and you process it that way, whether you do open houses, you gotta have numbers. And we track our numbers relentlessly, right, Ando?
Absolutely.
Ando knows, because when he joined our team, first thing we told him to do is track numbers, and we're always improving. We track how many hours we're on the phones, we track how many contacts we make, we track all these amazing things. So, 1 goal, 3 priorities, and then 5 strategies for each priority, okay? So our 1 goal was 250,000, 35 units. We're at 32 right now with 4 under agreement. So by the time this month is over, we'll close those. And we have well hit our goal like a bullseye. And that is the first year that actually happened, so it's pretty fun. And it's nice to hit them, because what we did now is we raised it towards the end to 50, which is gonna bring us coming out into 2016 really, really, really strong, okay? Because now we have some energy and some momentum behind what we do. And, that's priceless. Okay, so number of contracts, these are our priorities, right? 50% sellers, we're on the 3 priorities now. 50% buyers, 35 contracts, okay? 6 seller contracts and 3 buyer contracts. We set some dates there. We would have to go on 68 appointments, and these are our conversion rates. If anybody in here has better conversion rates than us, join our team, please. So 68 appointments we would have to go on. So number of contracts and number of contacts would be 6,700, which we're actually probably higher than that. Now these numbers, see the blue where it goes to blue? These numbers are pretty standard. You can pretty much suck. Like you could bring me somebody tomorrow and say, hey, teach this guy how to cold call, and I could probably get them to do these numbers. Anything better than this, you are, I don't want to say the cream of the crop, but you really study your craft and study your scripts, and you're like up at night like me and listening, you're like, how can I tomorrow say the right thing so I don't lose that particular conversation, So that's kind of how that's going to go. So 260 contacts to 1 contract, meaning if I call 260 people, I should be able to have 1 listing, okay? So then it just becomes a matter of how fast can you call 200 people. And when we get to the strategies, I'll let you ask the question. 140 contacts to 1 appointment, and 28 contacts a day to get 1 appointment based on a 5-day week. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me now for clarity purposes.
So that 260 contacts or 140 contacts, that includes cold calling 160 people? Or
That includes, basically, those numbers come from for sale by owners, expireds, and cold calls.
Okay.
So any form of calling, okay? Or which is lead generation, because even if you, well, yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
Okay.
So those are the numbers. Now, Ando here is an incredible young man, and he can do, if I put him on the phone now and he'll come out of there in 3 hours, he'll probably have 2 hot leads at least and 1 appointment set. Okay?
And that's from just cold calling, not targeted?
From just cold calling. You could cold calling, let me just cover that. Neighborhoods, okay? Hello, this is Dave, DNA Realty Group. Just want to give you a call, and we sold a house down the street, and see if you ever thought about selling your house. Or, hello, this is David, DNA Realty Group. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams. Just giving you a call to see if you ever thought about selling your house. No? All right, great, thank you, love you, bye. Things like that. So, now, you could do a lot better than these numbers. This is just saying that if you plan out your schedule, and for 5 days a week you work, I don't work Sundays, I have a 6-year-old, so all set, no open houses for me. I used to, but my time with my kid supersedes anything on God's green earth, okay? So I don't work Sundays. I probably will work every other Saturday. Obviously, in the beginning, I did what I had to do and I worked 7 days a week. But now things are a little bit different and I like it that way. So if you consistently pick your schedule, like what I do, when we go into this 135 and we start writing this stuff down and coming up with our game plan, this is my son's school calendar. If he has a day off, I have a day off. If the kid has a half a day, I have a half a day, and my clients can't find me. Obviously, you understand I do have a brother in the business. We do have our administrative staff.